What's up, guys? We are back again for another Funko review, but this time it is an action figure review, not a pop, not a Dorbs, not a vinyl toy at all. So we've got the Disney Afternoon figures this time around, and I wasn't going to pick these up, but then I saw them on the shelf, and as it goes, I just couldn't leave them there. So we got the Scrooge McDuck figure from the DuckTales line, and he's the only DuckTales figure we have so far. He comes standard blister card, just in a bubble on a cardboard back. But he looks really good in there. It's got a shot from the show on the front, same shot on the back. And then the two that I was really excited about, Rescue Rangers Chip and Dale. And they have the same kind of card art. It's just the standard kind of logo look for them. It's the same thing on the back as well. They're the only two Rescue Rangers figures so far. There are other figures in this line. I don't have them. There's a Darkwing Duck, and he has a Chase figure. They didn't have either when I saw these. And then there is a Baloo from Tailspin, but I didn't watch Tailspin, so I don't have any kind of real nostalgic feelings towards it. These, on the other hand, are right up my alley. Again, couldn't resist, even though I didn't really need to get into them, but here we are. So let's pull them out and take a look. All right, guys, so here they are out of the packaging. We have got Dale Zipper, which comes with Dale. We've got Chip and Scrooge McDuck. And I am, just as a cursory glance here, I'm pretty happy with these things. Like I said, I've never bought a Funko action figure before, I don't think. I've bought plenty of their toys, but as far as articulated stuff, I don't think I have. And these are pretty good for what they are. They're very small, 3 to 4 inches. Scrooge is obviously the taller figure here, and I think Baloo might be taller than him. But like Chip and Dale, for example, are just about 3-ish inches, and then Zipper is really tiny. But we're going to look at them individually real quick. There's not tons and tons to talk about here. Articulation's minimal, but what really does it for me is the sculpt, the paint, the overall look here. So we're going to take a look at Scrooge first, and then we'll take a look at our Rescue Rangers. All right, so Scrooge McDuck himself, as far as articulation goes, like I said, they're pretty minimal. His head can swivel. He can look up and down, but only slightly. Arms can go out, and he can swivel, and then there is a single joint at the elbow. There's nothing at the wrist, there's nothing at the waist, and then the legs are swivel legs. So they swivel at the thigh, basically. Well, I guess he doesn't have a thigh, but you know what I mean. It also, that on its own kind of makes some balance issues sometimes because they really sit a certain way. You're not really going to get these in any real action poses. They're not action figures. They are just articulated figures. So, don't expect to put them in any real dynamic poses. But again, like I said, I bought these because of the look. That's what drew me into buying these, is because they look so good. They are just on point. Really, that's the only way to describe them. They are on point in terms of their sculpt, their overall look. For a Funko product, I've mentioned previously in some of my reviews that their paint is getting a little sloppy here and there, and that's not really the case with these. Got that money bag there. Paint is pretty well good. It is, imperfect. It's never going to be perfect. I've got a little bleed like on the belt there, and then there's a little ding on the back, but for the most part, from what I've come to expect from Funko lately, these are kind of a cut above, and they look like, to me, like they jumped right out of the TV screen. So that's really what I was going for. This definitely looks to me like what I envision a small Scrooge McDuck action figure, and that's really all I can ask for. He comes with his cane, he comes with a bag of money, he can hold both just fine. The bag goes in his left hand, the cane goes in his right. They are meant for specific hands just based on the size of the opening. But in general, for what is a $10 figure, and I got these for even less than that because they were on sale. Yeah, you really can't go wrong if you're a fan of the source material. They're obviously not for everyone, but if you, like me, grew up watching this show and Rescue Rangers and Darkwing Duck and Tailspin, I didn't watch Tailspin, but this has got to be something that you're definitely looking forward to. And after seeing Scrooge McDuck, I understand why this figure and this line in general ended up on a few top 10 lists that I saw last year. All right, and here are our Rescue Rangers. We've got Chip, and we've got Dale here, and we've got Zipper in the background, and he is the pack-in accessory for Dale. Chip doesn't really come with any accessories. I'm not really sure what he could have come with. I don't remember him having any kind of signature item. So for the most part, they are, what you see. It's kind of a what you see is what you get kind of thing here. They have similar articulation to Scrooge, and they are in the same fashion, sculpted and painted pretty well. I don't have any glaring issues here, and they look to me like they jumped right out of the TV screen. Honestly, I would say that Zipper might be my favorite part of this entire set that I've gotten, just because He was kind of a favorite of mine in the show. You know, he's a tiny little fly, but he is the strongest member of the team. So I like that they included him with Dale. He doesn't do anything. He has no articulation of any kind, but he's painted pretty well. He's got his wings, and surprisingly for such a small little guy, he stands up really well despite having a tiny footprint there. So I'm going to move him aside real quick. So as far as Chip and Dale go, you know, they're in their kind of requisite outfits. We've got Chip with his jacket on and the hat, because, you know, he's kind of an Indiana Jones homage in this instance with Rescue Rangers, and then Dale has his Hawaiian shirt like Magnum PI. So that's kind of the thing that they were going for here. They are essentially the same kind of figure with some differences in terms of their sculpt and just the deco on them. But for the most part, you know, outside of the faces, they are basically the same body. So as far as articulation goes, they have rotating heads. They have arms that can go out to the side, but Chip doesn't really work too well because of the frills on his jacket. He can't really move his arm out that way, though the joint is there. And he can swing his arms forwards and backwards, and then there is that single joint at the elbow, and then they have swiveling legs. But the same thing with Scrooge. They're really meant to stand in a specific way. So if you move them kind of too far in terms of the legs, they will kind of list from one side to the other. So basically, you know, they really aren't, like I said, they aren't action-y action figures. They are articulated figures. That's about it. But in general, they do look really good. The paint on mine is pretty solid. You know, especially on Dale's shirt, there is a lot of room for error with those little Hawaiian type flowers on there. So I'm pretty happy with them. I couldn't really ask for too much more. You know, they're basically going to be just kind of, you know, just standing on a shelf as far as I'm concerned. They don't really need to be dynamic, and the fact that Funko was able to nail the sculpt really kind of brings it all together. And then, of course, if you throw Scrooge in there, you definitely get a very, you know, Disney vibe going on, and they look really good together. So overall, I am really happy with these. I don't really have any issues with them. There is a little paint blotch or nick here and there, but overall, I'm not going to complain about that. Price is right. You know, $10 for these is okay, and they come with accessories when they need them. They aren't dynamic really, but I didn't expect that either. They're really cashing in on the nostalgia factor with these guys, and I fully endorse that. Like I said, there is a Darkwing Duck and a Baloo in this line, but I couldn't get a hold of Darkwing Duck, and I don't have any real feelings for Tailspin, so I passed on Baloo. But these guys are definitely a must-have for me now that I've gotten them. I understand why people like them so much, and you know, I don't know if they would have appeared on my 2017 top 10 list, but they might have been at least honorable mentions, because they are very nicely sculpted, very nicely painted, and they just look good together. So that's going to do it for this look at the Funko Disney Afternoon figures. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time, guys.